If you're curious what an open relationship is, I'm going to explain it to you in this video in a few ways that you might appreciate and in simpler terms. This is coming from the perspective of someone who is an instructor in a course that teaches open relationship. So there's a few ways that I go about explaining an open relationship. First and foremost, I'm the only person that you've probably heard say this, that an open relationship, very simply put, is one that is not a closed relationship. And a closed relationship is what most people practice in our culture and in our world internationally. In their relationship, they have it as a closed relationship without ever calling it that or recognizing it as a closed relationship because of tradition and convention. Social convention means it's socially accepted and commonly practiced, and presumably unquestioned. You practice it without question. You believe it without question. That is what convention is. An open relationship and a closed relationship is exactly the opposite. And the word relationship is one of the most misunderstood words in our language and misappreciated word. And when you imagine a relationship, people often imagine something that's more monogamous, more long term, more serious, or any of that sort, but it's not actually appreciated in its actual definition. And your recognizing this definition of what a relationship is will help you tremendously in building your relationships. And I'll explain to you why in a few seconds. But a relationship is how you interact and interface with entities around you. If the world were an entity, my relationship to the world would be I'm an inhabitant of it. But more pragmatically and practically, my relationship to my cat is that I am its master and it's my pet, and it presumes to be my pet without our having to exchange words or say those words exactly. My relationship to my friends and people and businesses are completely unique to each individual because by definition they are individuals. And because they are individuals, they will offer a different dynamic as they interface with me. In other words, my relationship to my friend, friend A, friend B, friend C, friend 1, 2, 3, whichever the case, my relationship to them is unique to them. If you were to talk about it in different levels of significance, some are not very significant, and some become insignificant, some become more significant, some become very significant, and some become so significant as to become intrinsic and essential to me. Their happiness becomes essential to me. That often comes with love and adoration and respect and cherishing for that person and wanting for their actualization. Now, those levels of significance may come with being sexual, whether they're not very significant and they become sexual, or they become very significant and are sexual, or they're not significant and platonic, and very significant and platonic. Do you understand? The sexual aspect of that relationship is unique to the person, despite their significance. So, this is what I refer to, this is what you can refer to as the dynamic between persons. In the relationship between persons, how you interact and interface with entities. Entities is just another word for something that is recognized as, if it's not a person, it's a replacement for a person, an entity, such as an LLC is an entity, or a business corporation is an entity. You don't refer to Apple as Steve Jobs or this fella or this gal. You refer to Apple as Apple. I got this from Apple. This thing that I have is from Apple. Apple is an entity, is recognized by the government as an entity kind of like a person, but not necessarily biologically a person. So it's a concept. And concepts are something that we humans uniquely possess, our ability to create concepts. So leaving that alone, now we develop relationships with people, and the common and most commonly accepted and conventional format of relationship is one that is closed. And a closed relationship is any relationship which does not possess what I refer to as the three fundamental aspects of an open relationship. An actual open relationship, a relationship practiced with openness, being unconditional love, which is your wanting for your beloved's happiness intrinsic to your own, non-judgmental acceptance, accepting the person for who they are and facilitating that person and each individual in the relationship, their ability to feel that they can be themselves because it's facilitated, and open communication. Each person's ability to communicate openly about anything without fear of remorse or fear of emotional or psychological or even actual physical blackmail. So, in a close relationship, you're not able to interface with other people in a sexual manner because that would betray the arrangement of sexual exclusivity. That is actually the aspect of a close relationship. The primary aspect, the primary purpose of the closed relationship model is that sexual exclusivity. And that came about for many different purposes. And I like to say that we humans did not evolve to be monogamous. If we evolved to be monogamous, we would not have a need for the word marriage. We would just pair bond with one partner for the rest of our life. When we discovered agriculture, we discovered the idea of ownership and property. Just like we plant seed in a fertile soil and we receive product, we plant seed in a fertile woman and we receive product like a baby, and which baby, if we grew and we tendered and we raised, would inherit the land in which was our property. So it was very important for people to know that their child, especially their firstborn, were their own. And so they created things like chastity belts or chastity or harem guards to prevent their wives from copulating, having sexual intercourse with other people who would have children with them. So, in other words, there were many different reasons for sexual exclusivity, none of which was because we evolved to be monogamous. We did not. And so, sexual exclusivity is the primary reason you have closed relationships. Even people who consider themselves as quote unquote polyamorous, actually they're polygamous, meaning they're married with different multiple partners, whether it's polyandrous or polygynous, and they are in a close relationship and where the sexual exclusivity remains within that group of people. And so a betrayal to that relationship would be if you were to sexually interact with somebody outside of that relationship. So an open relationship is one that's very unique, a relationship practiced correctly that entails that it has unconditional love, your wanting for your beloved's actualization, so anything that makes them happy, denies jealousy and denies the ideas of property and ownership, and possessiveness. Non-judgmental acceptance, accepting them for being them, accepting the man for being a man and doing man things, and a woman for doing women things, and connecting with people in women ways. And open communication. None of these can be practiced in a closed relationship. So that's the brief 10-minute explanation of an open relationship. If you have any further questions, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to answer them in the future. Share this video with other people. You'll help to make the world a better place for all of us. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.